Welcome to 561 Music. My name's Ben.
And I'm Hector.
And how are you doing?
I'm doing so good. No, I don't know. I'm just doing good today.
It seems like it, man. It seems like you're in a good mood.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a couple of bad days, but it's been a good week overall. So
nice.
Yeah, works good. Everything's good.
So in case anyone's curious, I am experimenting with the titles of the videos. So if you think they're stupid, let me know. I'm just trying to see if we can garner some more views by putting kind of over-the-top titles on the episodes.
Trying to play the YouTube algorithm game.
Exactly, yeah. So let me know if it's daft and it's really turning you off. But I'm just experimenting a little bit. And you're going to make like a slightly different logo for it too, aren't you?
Yeah, slightly different logo. So it pops a little bit more. And I think we're on the thumbnails for each one. We're going to change fonts and stuff like that a little bit. Just trying to make it a little more legible, a little more jumping out at you.
Yeah, totally.
So, yeah.
So what did we do this weekend? Where were we? I can't remember.
We played on Friday.
We were at
Saturday. We were at Carson's Tavern.
Twisted Trunk on Friday.
Oh yeah, that was fun.
Yeah, so it's that whole halfway to St. Patrick's Day thing, which is it's dark. It's like a made-up holiday, but it's fun.
It's a reason for people to drink.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, like they don't need a reason, but they probably sleep better at night knowing that they had a reason. You know?
Yeah, and I guess any way that bars can get another crack at the whip, gets people out.
Yeah, and we're slightly out of season right now still, so it was just a way for them to get people in their bodies in there. So
and it worked because both of the gigs were killer.
Yeah, and Carson's was ridiculous, man. Yeah. Carson's was packed.
Yeah, my father-in-law, Peter, he said to me when we were there, like, for some reason we play the best at Carson's, and I think he's right, honestly. Yeah. Like, we always have a good show there.
It's always just so, like, inviting, and we're just relaxed there. I don't know. It's just a good time there.
No, absolutely. And Carson's a good fella, and, shout out, like, if anyone's looking for a place to go and watch good music. The funny thing is, it's not set up for music particularly, like, at all, but it just works. Yeah. I don't know. It's something about the clientele. They're just nice.
Yeah, we just slide some tables over and do our thing.
Yeah, exactly. Well, we have Shanece and Katy from the Little Things duo with us today. How's it going, guys?
Hello.
It's going.
Doing very well.
Nice.
It's been a weird week, but, we're trucking on.
So I think we first met at Victoria's wedding, didn't we?
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yes.
Yeah, so Victoria Lee, for anyone who doesn't know who she is, she's a great local singer and guitarist and looper, and she's really, really good.
Just a generally great person. Yeah. Love her.
Absolutely. I've known her for a really, really long time. She used to come and watch Killbilly shows right when we started, the first couple of years back, like 2012, 2013.
Yeah. Didn't she come? She came up with you guys and did a tune or two.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, because we always used to do Save Tonight with her back in the day. She'd get up and do it.
And it was before she was gigging, though, wasn't it? Like she got up a couple times with you guys or something.
It was right around the time she was starting. Gigging.
Okay.
Yeah. And
I don't know if you guys know, but I play drums for her now.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
I didn't know. That's awesome.
Yeah, me and Jeff. He's on bass. I'm on the drums.
Yeah, he's awesome.
Yeah,
he's great, man. He's got all sorts of interesting stuff going on. I went round his house to look at some studio gear the other day.
I believe that.
Yeah, I totally believe that. For all your gear needs, go to Jeff.
Yeah, totally. And anytime I post about any kind of gear, like, oh, I'm thinking about this fuzz pedal and he goes, just stop buying stuff. Just come around my house. I've got everything.
It's truly true.
And he do have everything.
Yeah. So I ended up buying an ART outboard, like, channel strip and compressor thing off him, and just another compressor thing, and I got 3 compressors of it, but
he has very specific things gear-wise too. Like if you're looking for like a pedal, he has that. If you're looking for a compressor or a certain brand, he has that. It's like
or a cable that's 1/8 inch to RCA. He's like, I got you.
Yeah, totally,
like okay, Jeff. Okay.
Yeah, totally. He was one of those people who I've known him for a long time on social media, but hadn't really hung out with him, and so it's nice to just go around there and shoot the shit. He's cool.
Yeah, he's cool. Good to know him. But we did meet at Victoria's wedding, which is kind of weird, funny timing because we had just seen Killbillies at Walking Tree like a month prior, and I was like, these guys are cool. These guys are really talented. I heard your name.
We had heard about you guys before and definitely had heard you before, but I don't think that we ever connected
Yeah.
that it was you guys. And then
Gotcha.
we were on the same bill
fun.
for the wedding, and then it was
Yeah.
I
like,
think we played right after you, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, you did. I remember seeing you guys just standing there, looking at us.
we
and I
were
was
like, they hate us. They
they
hate
hate
us.
us.
No, it
They're
was-
like, get off the stage.
it
And then,
was like
The opposite.
but and as soon as we got off stage, you guys were like, "You girls are great. Let's hang out." And we're like, "Cool, we're friends now."
Yeah, exactly. And we ended up collaborating on a tune and
Yeah.
stuff like that. So yeah, you guys had us sent us the Logic folder for a Britney tune, and we were just stoked. We
it's fun.
we recorded it over at James's house, and then I think we're gonna do some harmonies on it pretty soon too. So, yeah.
Ooh, I can't wait.
Soon to be released.
Yes,
Yeah.
it's on the horizon.
Excellent, man. So tell us a little bit about how you grew up in terms of music and were your parents supportive? Did you end up having lessons and stuff like that? Let's just go around. So Shanece, can you tell us a little bit about your kind of upbringing?
Yeah, sure. Mine is fun. I'm not born in this country, so if you can imagine, immigrant parents want you to be a doctor or a lawyer or things like that. So I was on track to go to medical school for a very long time.
Oh, wow.
And then I met her, and I was like, no,
Yeah.
no.
And then Katy was like, quit your life and do music. No. But basically what happened, I don't know anybody in my family who is musical. And so I think, I don't know, but I think I'm the only one that's living that we know of that is a musician. We have lots of DJs and here and there, but not anybody who actually sings or plays anything.
Right.
And so when we moved from Trinidad to the States,
How old were you when you moved here?
I was 11.
Okay.
So I'm 32 now. So that was a while ago. But I didn't know. We didn't have extracurricular anything in Trinidad.
Right.
So here they stuck us in. We moved to New York and they stuck me in a beginner piano class.
Right.
And so I started learning that. And then when we moved to Florida, everybody had already chosen their instruments in middle school for band in, high school and whatnot. So I was going into 8th grade and they just kind of stuck me in percussion.
Right. Okay.
And so I would get to school early. My band teacher was very kind and he would teach me how to read and play and stuff early in the morning. And
Oh, nice.
I just kind of always been an overachiever, if I'm going to do something, I'm just going to try to do it to the best of my ability.
Yeah.
So by the
excellent.
time high school came around, I was drum captain, I was on the drum line and the whole big thing. But
Her parents
that's how
were-
it all started.
But her
was-
parents were not very pleased with
my
her.
parents were not very pleased. It was, honestly, up until this year, it's been a fight constantly because
Yeah.
they can't understand why I would choose music over everything else when this is all that we do. I don't work.
Yeah.
But then her mom came to a gig a couple months ago and was like,
Yeah.
We're like, I
in
told
her
you.
defense, we've come a long way. We've been doing
Yeah.
this for 10 years, so
Yeah.
it's been.
Well, you're very good.
Thank you, but it's really gotten to where it is now in the past maybe year or year and a half. So my mom's finally heard this version of us that she's able to support. You know what I mean?
No, I get that. I mean, it's tough, I think. When I was growing up, I was just so single-minded ever since I was a very, very young boy. So I feel like it's never really been that much of a shock for them. But I suppose if you'd been kind of tried to sort of shepherded into this medical career
Yeah,
and then kind of did a bit of a 180, they might have been I can see how they would have been surprised.
Yeah.
But, yeah, and I also get that thing with, talking about the immigrant parents, they sort of see it as the land of opportunity in the sense of you can make a ton of money basically.
Right.
Yeah.
It's very money based, and I am wholeheartedly through and through not very money based. Hence, I'm
yeah.
a musician for a living.
Yeah, you have to not care about money.
You can't be
I am
motivated.
much more of experience in life and happiness, and that's the things that I strive for. So sometimes it's paycheck to paycheck, but I feel like we can all relate to that.
Yeah.
as the kids say, YOLO.
I don't know if the kids say that anymore.
I don't hang out with kids, so I don't know. I'm just making it up.
You're just not sounding cool right now.
Not all musicians are cool, kids.
Oh, that's funny. Yeah, so, all right. And did you had drumming lessons and stuff then from your teacher in there? Did you have any other kind of instrumental lessons at any point? Did you ever, how did you learn how to play the ukulele?
Katy, I went through a bunch of stuff as a kid, and I think I never really properly dealt with it. And we were talking about just anxiety earlier. I am a huge suffer of like big anxiety.
Well, you're in the right place, because I
And
think we can
you're
all
in
agree
good
with that.
company.
We're in a safe space.
I
here.
feel
Yeah.
But I one day we were living in New Orleans, and one day I just woke up and she was doing my makeup. She was putting like eyeliner on my face, and I just had like a full blown panic attack.
Yeah.
And I just went to bed and didn't wake back up. I think mentally or physically for like a year and a half or 2 years.
Oh, wow.
And she used ukulele as a point of distraction.
She was having a
Right.
really hard time, and I was like, "Don't be sad. Look at this. Look here. Touch this.
So she
Play
would
this.
like
Learn."
Yeah.
lure me out of bed and teach me how to play like simple chords, and it worked. It distracted me. And one day,
It's actually how the little thing started.
Yeah.
Because we
Right.
were practicing the 3 chords that she knew, and we were singing together, but she also wasn't really
and
comfortable
she
with
was
singing.
literally like, let's just go on the front stoop and sit down, because I hadn't been outside. When I tell you, I was just down and out. And she's like, let's go sit down outside on the front stoop and just play,
We
And
lived
our
on-
roommate at the time was emptying out his truck. We were on a busy New Orleans street.
We lived on Royal
there's
Street.
bikers going down. So I'm just immediately like, no, I don't want to do that. She's like, come on. So we went down there, and she taught me, we played through the one song or maybe 1.5 songs that I knew. And yeah, the rest is history.
We lived on Royal Street in the quarter, so we were in a
Yeah.
good spot for it. But
Yeah.
someone went to tip us, and they're like, "Oh, where's the tip bucket?" And we were like, "Excuse me,
Excuse me?
tip
Yeah.
bucket."
What?
And I was like, "Thank you very much."
That's
and then the next day we're like, "Let's go out on purpose." We made $11, and I was like, "We're rich, we're rich."
Best $11 I ever made in my life.
I really want to talk about busking with you, because I've done a huge amount of it. But before we do that, how did you find yourself getting into music, Kate? What was the journey with you when you were young?
Well, my parents are both musicians. My parents had a band growing up, which was always fun in school. They're like, "What do your parents do for a living?" And I'm like, "They're in a band." They're like, "Well, how do they pay the bills?" And I'm like, "They're in a band."
Yeah.
I'm 8, so I don't understand how it works, but
Yeah,
they
we
go to
kind of
work.
had the opposite in this sense.
Yeah.
They secretly rob banks.
Yeah, and like I wanted to be a vet really
Don't give them
badly
a wish.
until I realized I had to cut open animals, and I was like, "Can't do it. I don't want to do it
I
anymore."
just wanted to pet them. Yeah.
I just wanted to hang out with dogs, really. My dad tried to get me to play guitar and tried to teach me, and I was like, "No." And then in high school, I just picked up ukulele kind of just as a joke. I don't know.
Yeah,
It seemed silly, and I couldn't play guitar. I was like, I get why they call it the F chord now, and I hate this.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
let me do something easier, and I picked up ukulele, and then
And you were kind of like that annoying kid with the ukulele.
I
everywhere
was
you
that
went.
annoying
was
kid with the
me.
ukulele.
That was me. I was the
Hey.
annoying kid with the ukulele
This is
too.
one and the same here.
Yeah.
And so I would like bring it to school and stuff. And it was just me and my friend. We would play, and we're like, we're gonna move to New York City one day. And then, as friends do in high school, we stopped talking. And then I met Shanece, and we moved to New Orleans, and the rest is sort of history. But my parents were
Cool.
obviously very supportive, and
Yeah,
they
yeah.
loved it because they knew exactly what to get me
I
for
know,
Christmas and
They
birthdays.
get
Yeah.
us to this day. They'll like
Speakers.
upgrade our like speakers or get us
Get
like
us
a new
new mic
PA or-
cables.
Oh,
you know,
that's
they get
super
us like
cool.
stuff for our show, which is fantastic.
Love
So
it.
you'll appreciate this and have a bit of a laugh about it. I was so much the annoying ukulele kid that one time I went to a party and I was playing ukulele and and then I went out of the room, left it on the side, and I came back. Someone had snapped it in half and hung it from the ceiling.
No!
Yeah,
What
yeah.
in the
We're so
hell?
sick of you.
Yeah. They'd like they'd made such a big deal out of breaking it. They
Oh my
snapped it in half and then
gosh.
hung it in the middle of the room
like,
just to be
"You
like,
beg,
fuck you.
no."
I kind
Damn,
of have
dude.
like a little counter for this, and then we can move on. But when we first started busking in New Orleans, we would play this one spot on the brick wall down Royal Street, and we played the same 4 songs because that's what we knew at the time. And I was finally like feeling like a person again and wanting to be outside.
And we did this by the advice of our friend who is like a 60-year-old man who is a magician. He's a street performer, and he's like, what he does is the same magic show, and then it ends, and he does it again. So he's like, do the same 4 songs on
He's
repeat,
like, just go start.
and you know what you're doing. So
Yeah.
and we're like, great idea.
So we're
Yeah.
playing along one day. We're there,
It
we're
was.
playing, and it's a great day. Everybody's tipping us. And then this guy that lives in the building across from us comes down, gives us a 10, and he's like, I will literally pay you to sing anything else.
Yeah. Being
Outside
there-
of what you're paying right now.
We have more in common than you think. Yeah. Okay, I've just got to jump in on that one because
Yeah.
the exact same thing happened to me. And so I used to busk in this area in Manchester called St. Anne's Square, which is just, I used to live in Manchester in England. And there's this big statue kind of thing, like a war memorial or something like that. And we used to sit on the the kind of steps up to the plinth and busk there. It's always a great backdrop, that, because it's sort of, you know,
Right.
and,
Great for photos.
Yeah. And we used to make quite a lot of money. It was how I was making money at that time. I did it with two other guys, and it was me, and then I was playing saxophone and singing. Then
At the same time? That's impressive.
Yeah. and then there was another guy playing keys and singing, and another guy playing guitar and singing. And so we used to do all this 3-part harmony stuff. And we weren't 4 songs, but we were like 7 or 8 good ones.
Right.
That's about all we had. And there was a job agency up in the on like the 3rd floor. There was a square just surrounded by these
Right.
walls of offices.
Yeah.
And they came down one time and said, "Listen, we're a job agency. Come upstairs and fill out a form, because I just cannot bear to listen to you play those songs anymore."
We
They
will
just
employ you. We will be happy to
I will give you a
employ
job.
I'm on,
Yeah.
I'm on the opposite end of that. I was the guy asking somebody to
Stop
play,
playing?
play something else. I hate to
no.
admit that, but I was at I do chalk art, and I was.
That's
at a
why you've
I
been
was at
so
a festival.
quiet.
Yeah. I was at a festival, and I mean, you know, I'm there like 9-10 hours or whatever in one spot chalking.
Yeah.
This kid, it was a festival, so there was a big crowd, and this kid came over and he set a little keyboard up with a little whatever amp and stuff, and he probably played like the same 3 or 4 songs.
Oof.
He played like an Elton John song and like a Billy Joel song, like, you know, just piano songs. And he played like the same like 3 or 4 songs. And after about 4 hours, I'm like, bro, I will give you like $50 if you just stop playing Billy Joel songs. Like I can't
else.
anymore. You know?
Yeah.
To be fair, I totally understood. I was
Yeah.
never offended. I was like, yeah, we'll move, you know?
No,
I already
songs.
felt like some type of way about it.
Well,
you
the
know?
problem is, you get to the point, you're there to make money, right? And you get to the point where you know the money
This is
shots,
going to
you know what I
make
mean?
money.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That's the thing about busking shows is you know what's going to work. Once you figure
Yeah.
that out, it's trial and error. And once you figure out this is the formula, that's what you stick with.
And
If it ain't broke, don't fix it,
a
right?
little while back, when people were still buying CDs, I was doing this 20 years ago, and we used to burn our own CDs,
Yeah.
and sling them for $10, and you knew as soon as someone was walking towards you, you knew you had them.
Yeah.
You know, that was it.
You
There
can
was
see the look.
Yeah, there's no way at that point that they're not leaving without a CD, and that's how we made like sort of 60-70% of the money was
Yeah.
the CD.
Because
Yeah.
it's a tenner.
Yeah, exactly.
So it could be,
Same.
they might give you $1, or especially in the UK, they're all coins.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's 50p, it's 80p, whatever.
Now it's cool because when you busk in the UK, especially in Edinburgh for Fringe, you can do the contactless. So
Yeah.
They
they
did the
just come
tap.
up and tap their card
Nice.
and
And
that's
it's
it.
£2, £3.
And you can
Yeah,
preset it. You tell them, and they're like, okay. And you don't even have to deal with any cash or coins or anything.
Totally.
Before I forget, speaking of traveling and playing the same songs, I will never forget, we were in New Zealand. I don't remember where we were. We were in like a town somewhere. And we walked up. These people were playing a song. We walked up, heard them, talked for a second, went inside to a coffee shop, ordered our coffee, sat down, drank our coffee, and came out. And they were still playing the same song.
Yeah.
And it had been like 15 minutes. It was Riptide.
Like the exact same
It was
song.
Riptide by
you know,
Van
when
Stroy.
Riptide came
Oh, wow.
out, everybody was busking it. Everybody was playing.
Yeah,
For
yeah.
like
Yeah.
12 minutes.
Good Lord.
Like, my dude, do you not know how the song ends?
Yeah,
and so
yeah.
you're just scared. You're like,
14th
late.
verse, same as the first.
Basically.
Yeah, like, and it was always the chorus too. It was just the chorus on repeat. And I'm like, my
Like,
dude.
I have love for
Yeah.
you because I've lived through this, but anything
one
else.
song for 12 minutes.
That's
I'm
a long
like,
time.
That is a long
One
time.
of the things
It was longer than that too.
Having the sax there was helpful because
You can kind of riff.
you can just noodle. You know, you can play you can do exactly that. You can just stretch the tune out with
Yeah.
like endless sax solos and
And sax is
as
always
Hector
cool.
knows, he always rolls his eyes when I sound check the sax. Everyone goes, ooh! Everyone loves the sax. You know?
Every time we're like sound checking, we're doing stuff, or when we're playing a song or whatever. As soon as he goes to the saxophone, I could hear the collective sighs of every woman in the room, like saxophone.
When I saw you guys play, I turned to Katy and I was like, maybe we should learn a horn.
I'm saying.
Like, seriously. I was
There's-
like, it's just immediately captivating. And then
There's this one
you're like
guy-
standing there because you're like staying, you're interested, you want to hear what's going
When is he going to use it? When is he going to use
I
it?
feel like I remember a bit of melodica. Was that a thing, or was that?
We
not
did
in
it. Well, we did it more with Victoria in that.
Victoria
band.
has
Right.
is historically known for having melodicas,
Yeah.
and I think we did a cover online somewhere with a friend who had a melodica.
Okay.
Yeah.
No promises there. Maybe
Yeah.
it happened.
We just
maybe it
use
didn't.
pedals because we just use the limbs that we have.
I
Yeah,
also
sure,
I
yeah.
tried to play melodica and I can't. I don't know. Like I can't do the wind
The air,
instruments.
yes.
There's this cool thing that a band came on with a couple of weeks ago. That's one of those MIDI saxophones, you know.
Yeah. Oh, like the iwi.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, exactly. Is
yeah.
it ooey? Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, it's like vowel W
Uwu,
vowel.
maybe, I don't
We
know.
saw, oh my god,
Oh yeah, that's that thing.
that one's pretty cool. It sounds really cool. We saw a band like years ago in New Orleans, and the opener had one, and we walked in, we were like, "What is that?"
I know.
know?
I've been
And-
thinking of getting one, but then it's like it doesn't really gel with like the Killbillies kind of
No,
like
it doesn't.
rustic.
You're right.
The organic
You're right.
sound that you guys have, yeah.
Well, we've been
I
talking
agree.
about like I mean I played saxophone years ago, and so we've been joking around about getting a baritone saxophone.
It's
And
hard. It's not really that much of a joke.
it's kind of half not really a joke, but like the idea is I would sometimes switch over to baritone sax instead of
Do it.
upright, and
My
then I'm
mind
like,
is
and then
being
maybe
blown.
people will pay attention to me, right?
Yeah.
First of all,
very
people
good.
do pay attention.
Wait, you're in the band too?
Thank you.
Right?
I didn't know that you were in the
Right?
band
That's
too.
what I'm
I
saying.
mean, as I feel
Oh,
like
that
I
was
remember
you.
you telling me that you basically got coaxed into playing the stand-up bass anyway, and
I
you
did.
crush it. So I mean, come
Yeah,
on.
yeah.
I did
I-
get coaxed into it.
we were talking about different brass, wood, mouth, breath instruments. I don't know how to speak English anymore. And
Woodwind? I don't know.
yeah,
Depending
the
on the
blowy
instrument.
ones,
The blowy
but
ones.
I don't know how that sounds. But anyways, and I was listening to a trombone, and I was
Yeah.
like, I feel like trombone is really cool. Don't get me wrong, but I feel like it's much sillier than a tuba. Like when you play tuba music, it's like boom, 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 boom,
Yeah,
boom, like
tuba's
kind
like,
of funny. That's trombone. Yeah, that was a really good
Sorry, that's what I
trombone
meant,
sound.
yeah. Thank you.
I feel like that was a perfect cue for
Oh
me
my
to do that.
god, Victoria just got a kazoo with a little trombone,
Oh
neck, and it actually
Little
does
slide,
it.
little slide.
Oh, wow.
It's so funny.
That's awesome.
Anyway,
Yeah, no,
I just
I
need to
try
say
to
that.
play trumpet once. I can't do any of those.
They're hard.
Things.
Brass instruments are hard. The
Brass.
saxophones.
That's the word.
The saxophone's a bit easier than brass instruments because
Sure.
it's kind of like a big golden recorder, basically.
I thought you were going to say golden retriever. I really thought you were going to say golden
It's
retriever.
kind of like a big golden retriever.
It's
I
just-
mean, if you really think about it, like an instrument world, it kind of is.
Yeah,
you
okay.
know.
Yeah,
Sure, we'll go
Golden
with that.
retrievers is just always like you see when you're like, oh, what's that?
I want to pet it. How did you get into saxophone now? I'm
Now we're
interviewing you.
interviewing you.
All right. Okay. So I started on the piano. I always wasn't that into it, and then in my music room at my school, they had like a picture of every sax on the wall, just like this beautiful picture of all these shiny Boozy and Hawks, I think was the company, and all these shiny saxophones. I used to walk past it every day, and I just got the stars in my eyes for it, and I just thought it was the coolest thing ever. And then I just started begging my parents, you know. And at first they it's the same story with a lot of people, you know. At first they were like, well, you know, probably not super expensive and da. And then I just kept asking, and then eventually they caved and I got one.
So basically, you pressured your parents into getting you a saxophone.
Yep.
It's so funny, man. I played saxophone, but I had no desire to play saxophone at the time.
Really?
Yeah, it was like first grade or something. And we
Oh,
went into,
yeah.
we went
First
into this,
grade?
Yeah, we went into this like room and they were like showing us all the band instruments, whatever. And
That's what I
and
mean.
All
You
I wanted
choose
to
your
do,
instruments
all
here
I
in
wanted to do
Florida.
was like play drums. And my mom was like, "How about the saxophone?" I'm like, "Nah." She's like, "No, really, the saxophone." And I'm like, "Nah."
But is it
She's like,
drums?
no,
The
saxophone.
saxophone.
And then she
Hector.
she got me a saxophone, and I was like, "Well, I guess it's a saxophone." So yeah, I played that till I was like
Did you?
20.
You should have used like drumsticks and been like, "How do you feel about this,
Right?
Mom?"
No. Yeah, no.
It
I mean,
would be
was
cool though,
fun.
wouldn't it? Imagine like
The Barry
imagine him on
sax?
a Barry sax,
Hell yeah.
and
I mean,
I
me on
haven't-
a tenor, and then James playing the banjo.
I mean, I haven't touched a saxophone
That
in
would be
20
funny.
years, but I
should
imagine
make
it's like
him-
riding a bike and you kind of,
is, yeah, more or less.
You just gotta
You should make
re-chap the
James
lips.
change instruments as well, but instead of changing to a woodwind, just make him play like a banjolele.
Oh, there
Yeah.
you go. yeah, totally. There's so many. I mean, I think it'd be cool if you had a Barry. You can
Hell
get
yeah.
bigger ones than that, so you can get bass sax.
I know.
Bass saxophones are insane. Bass clarinets are insane.
Not to remind you of your mother pressing the saxophone on you, but you should play that.
You
It'd
should
be
play
really
that.
cool.
Yeah, absolutely. I couldn't agree more. So, all right, you're going to Korea. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Next week,
That's
I
crazy.
can't
Wild.
believe that. Okay,
When we
so,
met you guys, it was like months away.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we had
yeah.
actually just found out because they got married on the 30th, and we found out on the 21st of June. So this festival It's called the Buskers World Cup. Speaking of busking, the Buskers World Cup. It's the second year they're doing it. There were 792 applicants from 55 countries all over the world.
Wow.
They accepted 64 teams, and we were one of them.
Right. How many people are allowed to be in a team?
Up to
6, 8, 10.
Oh, wow.
It's like bands. Like they're called teams.
But it's pretty cool because
Korean.
like if you're a 6-person band from the U.S. and you get accepted, I mean you have to go through some stuff to get accepted. So if you do, they fly the entire band out.
Oh, wow.
Put you up.
They fly up to 3 people out.
Up to 3 people.
Up to 3
and
people.
and then you split costs.
Yes.
Otherwise, yeah.
We got to try and get on this.
No kidding.
It's actually really cool.
You
So
guys would crush it. Anyway.
It's a festival. It's like a free festival in Gwangju, South Korea. It's like an hour and a half south of Seoul where we're flying. 16-hour flight.
Wow.
From
Excuse me?
Atlanta.
From Atlanta.
We still have to fly to Atlanta.
Yeah, we miss a day and then we come back in the same day. But anyways, it's a festival and it's a competition. First prize is $40,000,
Holy crap.
which is pretty freaking sweet. It's like 200 million won or something.
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
but they award the top 8. So
You buy
there's
like
that.
a castle with it in Korea.
Yeah, basically.
So if you come in first, you get 40 grand. But if you're like the next 7th, you place and they split 40 grand with those
Between
7.
2 through
Okay.
2
So
through
you
8,
have a
yeah.
very good shot at
And then there's-
winning some money, even if it's
Yeah.
not the 40.
And there's an honorable mention as well that gets an award. But yeah, they're flying us out, which is really exciting. We got a hotel for 2 weeks for us and our partner, and it was $500
for the entire
Oh,
time.
wow.
for 2
So
weeks.
affordable.
Yeah,
Really.
it's gonna
Which
be.
they're also paying for. That's insane. You know.
Yeah, it's great. We're gonna eat so many noodles. I can't wait. There's 3 rounds of the competition, from 64 to 32, 32 to 16, and 16 to 8.
Right.
And I think we just got the information about where we're playing and when we're playing. I think we're playing on the 4th. We're playing on the second day of the
Yes.
first round. I know that.
Which is kind of nice. Gives us a minute to settle in and.
Is the whole thing like in one spot, or,
Yeah.
or it's not divided like in like different clubs and everything like that?
No.
It's all one festival, one
Yeah,
stage.
It's
it's like a
outdoor.
big outdoor stage. So
Okay.
imagine
Right.
like you're just going to see like any concert except for you're watching a busking competition happen.
Gotcha.
And
I
there's-
But the
suppose
public can come and
the
like
weird
watch
thing
and
about
stuff.
that is that if it's on a stage, is it even busking anymore?
Right. So this is we've talked about this in great length because we literally come from
We come from
busking.
the streets.
The gigs
Yeah,
are
yeah.
after for us. So we're like, this feels giggy, which is good because you get the sound
Sound
system, you
and-
get the gear,
Yeah.
you get the whole stage. The only thing that I kind of miss that busking gives you is just like the close proximity of
Yeah.
people,
Yeah.
and then having that grab on them, like having them like crowd participate and do things. But I feel like you can accomplish that from a stage too. You just have to be charisma.
You're gonna have an
know?
awesome
You have to
Yeah.
try.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
going to be amazing. But it is weird because you think that if it was a busking competition, some of it would be about how you are as a busker, and you can't
Yes.
tell if you're on a stage.
Well,
Yes.
I think the festival is free, so I think their like logic in that is that there are hundreds of chairs in front of you, and if you sit people down in them, you're
Right.
doing well. You know what I mean?
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
So,
okay,
yeah,
that makes sense.
And there's 3 different stages, and they have judges from all over the world. There's some Korean judges. There's this one woman who's a Swiss festival promoter, I believe.
Yeah, she's
Okay.
a
There's
judge. My hope is like even if we don't win, we got a free trip to Korea.
The whole thing
It's
is just
covered.
super cool. Yeah.
yeah.
Right, and then B, who knows who can see us from whatever other festival around the
Right,
world, whatever
right.
promoter around the world.
And that kind of thing is the perfect place to get like a gig like that because
Yes.
Exactly.
it's just a busking it's already an enormous group of people who like to travel and kind of transient exciting people.
Right.
And then the international side of it is just
Yeah, I
you're
mean,
all
definitely-
the
over-
things that Fringe, like Edinburgh Fringe,
Yeah.
even did for us. Like, I mean, we have contacts. Like, somebody approached us about playing the Formula One races in Dubai.
sick.
You know, like
I've busked at Edinburgh Fringe too. We
Yeah,
have
really?
so much in
Awesome.
common. It's awesome.
Yeah, all of the cool things that we've done, most of the cool things that we've done have come from the Edinburgh Fringe.
Yeah.
Our first year there, we met this woman who, love her to death. Jazz Joslin is her name. She's
Jazz
just-
Johnson.
Joslin.
Joslin.
Jazz Joslin.
she's
from-
Kiwi.
She's
from
Kiwi.
New Zealand.
Jeez.
And jeez. And she met us, and she's a fantastic performer, and she loved us. And she's like, Shanece, you look really cool. do you want to be my drummer?
And I was like, do you want to like? She
Hear
said
me?
you have cool hair. Do you want me to be my drummer?
Right,
And I was like, do you want to hear me play? Like, I know that you know that I play drums, but
Do you want to hear?
do you
And
want,
she's like,
I
no,
can
you're
show you a
in.
video. And then we ended up doing a 2.5 month long tour in New Zealand. It was awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh my god.
Which is really
Crazy.
fun. She was the next year at the Fringe because we became quite close and we shared a flat with them next year, her and some other people the next year. And she was like, I just finished recording my album and I want to release it. Do you want to be my band? We were like, yes.
Yeah, wow.
Yes.
Without
immediately, yes.
question,
She's
yes,
like,
I will be
"Oh,"
there. Tell
and
me when
then-
to be in New Zealand.
And then we found the flights for like unbelievably cheap from LA.
What
And
did
I'm
you
like,
play in it?
I played keys.
Oh, nice.
And she played drums, obviously.
yeah, we both sang too.
I mostly
It was 4
just
vocals.
I mostly just sang and gave directions in the car.
I think the important thing to note with all of this in our whole career is it all started with Fringe in Edinburgh, and that all started with having enough money to turn left and pay rent, or turn right and go to the bank and deposit this money and buy this one-way ticket to Edinburgh, but not even
That's
knowing
gangster.
if we can come back home, if we'll make enough money, if we can eat
Yeah, yeah.
anything. We just bought the ticket. And that was single-handedly like the best decision we've ever made, I think, for our careers.
We had
'Cause
another
Edinburgh
busker
changed
friend.
our whole life. I mean,
Yeah.
insane.
Yeah, that's awesome.
We had another busker friend who went the year before, and they were like, "You got to go," and we're like,
Yeah.
"Yeah, but like rent and New Orleans," and they were like, "You have to go."
Yeah.
We're like, "Okay, fine." And so
I think just
we're like,
sometimes
"Okay, we'll
when
go."
people see what you can't see in yourself, you know?
Mm-hmm.
We were questioning ourselves. We're like, we're not good enough. It's not going to be profitable for us. It was one of the best years. I mean, our first year was amazing. We made more
How
than
many
enough
times
money.
have you been to it?
Yeah.
We did 2016, 17, 18, 19.
Nice. Okay.
So before the end of the world.
I did the year. What was it 2001? I think I was there.
Oh, wow.
Long time ago. Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
still happening. She's still
Yeah,
going
yeah.
strong.
Our friend Pockets, who is a ukulele player from Edinburgh, they have been there for I think 18 years, something like that. I was trying to do the math. I'm like, were they there in 2001?
Have you seen that that ukulele video on YouTube with? It's called "The Final Countdown" is the song.
It's a
that they're covering?
ukulele. It's a ukulele with a toy piano and a kazoo stuck in the
Sounds cool.
headstock.
I'm gonna watch it
Yeah.
after
Anyway,
this.
Pockets made that video and got like over 1 million views like overnight. And then
Oh,
it just
wow.
And this is
blew
in
up.
like 2002 when YouTube wasn't a thing and
Yeah.
viral wasn't a word, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
And so that kind of blew them up. And now they're all over TikTok doing the kazuki-lele thing.
Sure. Yeah.
And they had like a company build it. I mean, insane. But anyway, so Edinburgh changed our lives, and that's that. You know, that's even why we're sitting here.
And yeah, and how we learned about the festival in Korea, to circle back around, was through our friends who we met in Edinburgh.
I love
Went
Edinburgh.
last
I
year.
love
Yeah,
it.
I
Do you
love
walk
it.
up Arthur's seat?
Yeah,
Yes.
every time.
Yeah,
You have
yeah.
to.
I know, right?
Yeah.
And for some reason, I mean, surprise, it rains in Scotland, but it's like, it's a nice day, it's not going to rain. And as soon as you step your first foot off the pavement onto the
land.
to the volcano, rain. I'm like, cool, as though walking up this very steep hill wasn't hard enough.
Yeah,
Now
yeah.
it's slippery. Thank
But
you.
it's gorgeous,
Yeah.
though. I mean,
But it's
you
worth
see the
it.
whole city from up top. It's amazing. We make
Right.
it a point. We're big outdoorsy people, too.
We haven't done the castle yet, though.
Have I been in the castle?
I've
no,
seen
neither
Harry,
have I.
I've seen
Well,
Harry
we've
Potter,
walked past
so.
it a million
We've been
times.
inside of it. Yes, we did. We walked inside of it last time we were there. We were with Melissa. And it was completely overwhelming. And
You
my
go in like
anxiety...
the courtyard part. Of
Yeah, yeah.
And my anxiety was through the roof because it's worse than Disney World. I mean, it's like shoulder to shoulder. I was like, I have
Yeah.
to leave immediately.
And no AC, so it's just very hot.
I went to the Musée d'Orsay last summer, and there was no AC in there. And boy, oh boy, did it
Oh my
smell in
God.
there.
Yeah, the
the
smell.
French shows,
Yeah,
like the
yeah.
basement French shows, like you're just sitting in there and it's hot and you're like in a basement that can only seat like 20 people and the show's hilarious and you don't want to leave, but you're just sweating and
I'm having
everybody
a good
smells.
time.
It's like a sauna with a show that you paid for.
So do you have a, when you're writing your originals, is there some kind of process involved?
Sort of, actually. We were thinking about that today. I'm the bigger writer. So I will write like
You don't write more. You're just really big.
She just writes in really large
giant,
letters.
like those
You
big
have to get like
pencils. You get
80 sheets of paper for one line.
No, I think what happens is I write the very first draft of our songs, just like rough drafts, like whatever I spewed out of my brain at the time.
Yeah.
And then I bring it to Katy, who is much more of like the polisher.
I got you.
Like today we were working on an original actually, and there's like 4 or 5 lines in there that I'm like, I hate this. I can't think of anything
I needed to put
else.
something, but I hate what's
Here you
there.
go.
Fresh eyes, man.
Right.
It's a game changer.
It's great because you have like, whoever writes, sometimes it's her, sometimes it's me, and then the other person is very good at like kind of, we're good at bouncing back and forth from each other. So I think that's nice, and because she's much more like of, she'll make chords like interesting or change like variations of chords,
And
or
Shanece
like
comes in with the
arrange
strumming
differently.
patterns.
Yeah, and I have like the drum brain, so I change up our strumming patterns and the words.
Right. So you actually very specifically strum, like it's not just kind of whacking away at it.
No,
Yeah.
everything's like calculated.
Comes up with a pattern, yeah.
Yeah,
Unlike,
through seeing you play, that doesn't surprise me at all. It's very tight.
hey, thank you. Unlike Warrior, a song that we're actually going to be releasing soon and we'll be playing tonight. I had this ukulele part in my head. I just kind of came up with it by accident because I missed a note on trying to play a chord. I'm like, oh, this is kind of cool. And I was like, it makes me feel like I'm like walking in this
like
kind
ethereal.
of, yeah, I'm like, I feel like I'm in Zelda or something. Like, I don't know where it is, but it's kind of real, kind of not. And we were living in Miami at the time, and I was like, I have to write a song about this. I'm like, I'm going to go write a song. And Shanese's like, cool, I'm going to sit here and watch Xena. And I'm like, that tracks. And so I'm sitting in the room, and I'm like playing, and I'm like trying to come up with words, and I'm getting somewhere. And like, as though it was the voice of God, I hear from the living room, she was Xena. Da, 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 da. And I'm like, oh, Xena. So then I do like a whole research paper on Xena, and I come out 20 minutes later, and I'm like, I wrote a song.
Yeah.
It's about Xena.
That's awesome. What an awesome thing for it to be about. Too.
Yeah.
Xena's
I watched a lot of Xena as a child. I wonder if it has any
effect
on my life
you just
now.
hear that laugh that came out of my body.
That's really funny. So, all right. So that's how you guys kind of get the songs done. I have had a little bit of business with the guys recording your tunes, but I don't know more. I just had a couple of emails back and forth. What's the situation there? How are you recording your stuff?
Well, let's see. How do we
go
meet
in,
Tom?
we plug in, and we play.
Yeah.
How do we record it? How do we meet him?
Who is it and everything, you know?
Oh, Tommy Holla.
Okay.
Yeah, he's a local producer. He produces all up and down the Treasure Coast. He's worked with a lot of bands, actually, that, if you heard some of their music, you'd be like, wow, yeah.
Oh, sick.
But he came to a show with some of his friends. He ended up at Sailfish, I think, one day.
I was actually wondering how in the hell we met him.
We were playing.
This is good for me to learn.
We were playing at Sailfish at a brewery in Fort Pierce, I think, is what I remember. And he ended up there with some friends. And I don't know if we had met him before and he came to see us, or he just ended up there, but he was there. And we were playing, and then he was like, you guys sound great. I'm a producer. And I was like, great. We had been working with some other producers around town, but we had heard some stuff that he did. And I was like, I really am into
And he's a
just your
drummer.
style. And he's a drummer, which is great for me because I
Soft
can
spot.
tell him exactly what I need and he understands, and that's the hardest thing for me with working
I need
with
a
a
scuba da
producer.
doo da. He's like, oh, you
And I
mean
think
like this?
overall, we just figured out that we connected. We have very similar taste in music. He's a drummer. He even plays ukulele. So it's just
He has
everything
cats.
just kind
We
of
have cats.
all the I's got
Yeah, there
dotted,
you
and then
yeah, brilliant.
we were like, okay, this is it. This is the one.
And he makes our ukulele sound so like.
And that's
Yeah.
the thing is, when
I actually stole some of his plugin idea because he sent me the whole song folder.
Yeah.
And I saw that some of the plugins he was using, I didn't have them,
Like-
and so I do now.
Well, that's the thing. It's like, every time we record our ukuleles, or even we play live shows or big shows, big stages where somebody else is mixing us, and I love everybody and I'm so happy for their great hard work. But because I think they're used to guitars or different kinds of instruments.
I'm sure
They
you
just
guys get
it
this
wrong.
too.
Yeah, you guys
All
probably get it with
the
your
time.
setup. So,
Oh my
I see
God.
that smile. You're like,
so when
oh
I meet
yeah.
somebody
It's
who
this guy.
can
It's
Gets
me.
it.
It's me that gets it. Like I have major problems with feedback from
Major,
the
like
monitors.
every
so I
gig.
started using in-ears. And that kind of took most of that away, but like people just can't seem to get the bass sound right.
Yeah,
Like,
it's
just,
you know what, and it's the same because with her ukulele, I mean, it's standard tuning; it comes right through. My ukulele, people either put me too bassy and take out all of my mids and my highs, or you can imagine. But
Yeah.
Tommy was one of the first guys that we went in just to see how we would do. We
And he
recorded
nailed
some
it.
ukes and
Nice.
some voices, and he sent us an unmixed version, and I was done. So
That's
it was
it, yeah.
instant.
Yeah.
It's just that rounded sound that he gets.
Yeah. No, that's really awesome.
And in Warrior, the song that the song I was just talking about, we sent it to him and we're like, I don't know, make it a song, please. And he was like, I got you.
Yeah, we told him all of our ideas, of course. We're like, this is what we want. This is what I want with drums. We want it to sound real tribal.
He put 16 different hand drums on the track.
Sick.
It sounds
Yeah.
so good. And we went to his house after he was recording and there's just 80 drums all over the place. And I'm
Yeah.
like, are you okay? And he's like, I'm having a great time. I'm having so much fun. But he really was.
I mean, he captured that song for us, I feel.
He really
It's
did.
It's a continuous, we're always impressed.
We love us
Yeah.
some
You
Tommy.
know?
Oh, I'm so
Which is
glad
also the
you
name
have
of
such
my
a good
cat.
relationship with us. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Makes me very
And he just
happy.
happens to be a good friend, so it works
Yeah.
out,
Yeah, totally.
And we live very close.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to. I'm going to get to chat to him one more time because I'm going to send it. Well, probably more than that, but I
Yeah.
have a reason to.
One.
more
Well,
time.
he
Only
actually
one.
wants us to do an entire EP together with you guys,
Oh,
so
well, let's do
We're
it.
down.
we'll be in
We're in.
contact.
Great.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't have to ask us twice.
He's
We'd
like,
be
listen,
Yeah, that
I
was
don't know.
fun.
I love everything that we're doing here, and I love your work, but the little things, the little killbillies, what would we even
The
call
little
that?
Killbillies. I like that.
The kill things. I don't know.
The Kill Things is awesome.
Just punk folk.
The Kill Things is actually a good name.
Yeah. Oh,
That's a
here we
good name for
go.
a tour. The Kill
Yeah.
Things tour.
Oh my gosh,
dude.
guys.
I'm just saying.
You
Yeah,
heard it here
and let's
first,
do it
everybody.
together. Just take it
It's
on the
definitely a
road.
million times better than the Little Billies. That sounds like a name for someone's wiener or something.
That'd be Little Willies. It's like you
Little
wanted to say
Billies,
Willies. Yeah, and he was playing us this other what's the word?
This other artist.
This other artist who's what's the style? Psychobilly, rockabilly
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
kind of thing. And he's like, this is really coming up, and he's turning it up slowly, looking at us like,
Oh, that's funny.
and I'm like,
Do
yeah.
the EP with that.
Dude,
Yeah,
he's
let's
like,
do it. I mean, is
he's like,
there
you- he's
any
like, what-
reason not to? We should just get it
I know.
done.
I was like, I'm sure once
If
I
only
talk
we
to
had a
them,
studio.
it'll be okay.
Yeah. That's the thing. Let's just do it. We can still do everything else we're doing, but let's do that
Right.
as well.
I mean, it's,
YOLO,
Exactly.
Katie, stop. Trying
As
to
the
make
kids
YOLO.
say.
as the kids say.
What's up, teens?
Hey, children. No, that sounds
That's
weird.
definitely not. YOLO works more than that.
What's up, teens?
Right at the camera. Camera 1, camera 2, camera 1.
Such a dad thing.
Exactly.
I make my dad groan with my dad really just pushed the dad jokes on me as a kid, as one does. And then I kind of just adopted it. And every time I see him, I'm like, why do seagulls live by the sea?
Oh,
And
there you
he's
go.
like,
We have this little one-liner that we do in the middle of our shows where we're like, this is 80% a bad comedy show and 20% decent music,
Oh,
That's
there
what
you
you're
go.
sitting down to get is Katie's comedy show.
ladies
Yeah.
and gentlemen, bad jokes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's awesome. Do you have it? You told a joke for the little YouTube short earlier. Have you got any more?
Oh, she's got tons. So everybody
Uh,
buckle up.
They talk about put you on the spot.
Yeah. Oh, man. What kind of a bagel can fly?
I don't know.
A plain bagel. All of my jokes are about bagels, apparently.
Yeah, totally. That's funny. I don't know why it's funny.
Or two potatoes are walking down the street.
Right.
This one's NSFW. How can you tell which one's the prostitute?
I don't know.
The one that has the sticker that says Idaho. It's not funny.
telling you, it's so bad.
terrible.
It's not
that
funny.
I'm going home to tell my kids.
She's armed you. You're good now.
Right?
I have a one that's even more raunchy, but my dad told me this one. I don't know if you can always edit it, I suppose, if it's awful. But
And so I think we have to be pretty bad.
well, two nuns are
And we're canceled.
two nuns are riding their bikes around
Yeah.
the city, and one nun turns to the other and says, "I've never come this way before." And the other one says, "It's the cobbles."
That's not too bad. It's really funny. That's hilarious.
Anyways, moving on swiftly.
Yeah, all right. So this sounds such a weird thing to ask after that, but I'm going to do it anyway. So who does your social media and stuff? Which one of you guys?
Both of us.
Both of us are mostly me.
Okay.
I don't know. Lately, it's been me. I've been pretty good about it.
She's like, if you're watching a story or like any of our cool stories, it's totally Katy.
Okay.
I don't know.
It's 50-50.
It's 50-50. Yeah, now that I'm saying it out loud, it's kind of, if one of us gets burnt out, the other one just takes on
over.
it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's a lot. I mean, you can't
is a
just
lot.
post your show anymore. You have to post across like 4 social media platforms.
Yeah.
Post
Yeah.
stories on all of them.
Stories and
It's a whole thing, you know?
Yeah, we have a social media person that does all our stuff.
I was going to ask you because all your stuff is on point.
Yeah, but that being said, like your social media versus our social media, you have your show stuff, and then you have like, hey, check it out, we did this today. You know,
Life
like
stuff,
Yeah.
yeah.
right,
Yeah.
which is interesting. Ours is just like show. I mean,
Yeah.
you know, occasionally
I think,
we'll post
you know,
something.
I
but-
do spend an extraordinary amount of time on social media, though. So there's
You,
a lot.
I
Yeah.
think I've seen like the
Yeah.
most stuff from you.
Yeah.
Like, out of all of you guys, for sure, Ben
I'm
definitely.
terrible. It's
No, I mean, but
it's
I do it
embarrassing.
too. I think I want to have a social media person, but I
Yeah.
also enjoy the like
The back and forth kind of.
Yeah.
the back and forth, but the like
Person-
connection, the personal connection
Sure.
that you get when you do it yourself.
Yeah.
However, I'm so sick of it, and at this point, like if we were making enough money that I could pay a social media manager, I would.
I mean,
Yeah.
the
You
main
know?
reason we did it is just because we have, I mean, you know, the usual, you know, you got to go across the board on all the different platforms.
Yeah.
But just it's
You're
just
so very busy.
yeah, and she's, I mean, we play all the time, and then she comes out to occasional shows as well and takes photos of us and
Nice.
stuff. So, you know, she does stories with videos and things. So she does all that stuff for us, and we don't have to deal with it.
Amen.
Like Ben said
Good
one
for
day,
you.
we were talking about the social media presence one day, and he's like, if I ever wake up and don't see my face on social media, he's like, I'm going to be worried.
Yeah.
You know, what happened to Danielle?
I
Yeah,
know.
no.
Yeah. She's on it, man. She's,
Yeah.
All
she's
of your
That's
photos
great.
look great. Here's our thing. We're terrible at doing photo shoots, like
Yeah.
setting them up, and then we're super awkward in photo shoots.
Right.
So there's a lot of
What do
photos
we
of us
do
being
now?
like,
what does my hands do?
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
weird
I wish I
when
was
you're a
joking.
musician, you're used to holding an instrument. Somebody
Yeah.
puts you in front of a camera, and they're like, "Okay, we're gonna take
be
cool
cool.
pictures of
Yeah.
you now."
I
what do
was-
you even do?
I was filming Hector for this Scar
Oh,
Project
God.
thing that
So
we're
awkward.
doing on Sunday, and he was, bless his heart, yeah, you get
It was so
camera
awkward.
shy.
I
don't you?
do, man. I love being on the other side of the camera. I mean, I do
I'm with
photographs
you
for a
on
living,
that.
but
I feel like
Do you
we
wanna
have a lot
photograph
in
us?
common, and you guys have a lot in
Yeah.
common.
it's so stupid. As soon as I get on the other side of the lens, I'm like,
Do I have a face? Have I ever had a
Katie's
face?
like next to me, and she's like, "Put your shoulders down, and she's like telling me what to do, and I'm like, "Oh my god, thank you so much."
Well, you see, not only is my mother a musician, but she picked up a camera and then never put one down.
Ah.
And so when I was a teenager, she'd like take pictures of me, and I would, make a stupid face, and she goes, "I'm taking the picture, so you can either look good or not. It's up to you."
Oh, there you go.
And I'm like, ugh.
So she
and so I looked bad a lot of the time, but it was my choice.
Yeah,
and then I
yeah, I
looked
gotcha.
kind of okay, and then I would notice she was taking pictures, and I'm like, no, don't take pictures of me.
Now you look spectacular.
Now I'm just so photogenic.
she's just like at all time like that girl that just always has a
I'm
picture
always
being
ready.
taken of her.
It's funny though, because candids of me, 50-50. Sometimes it's like, wow, were you posing? And other times it's like, oh,
Yeah.
don't show anybody that picture.
Yeah, I mean, our
funny.
photo shoots is like 500 photos, but like
We get 10.
25 or 50 of them are what gets kept.
That being said, we need to do another photo shoot.
Yeah.
I keep looking back
Anybody
and I'm
any
like,
Not too
photographers
many.
out there that
apparently Hector's a photographer, so hey.
Yeah.
Not like you're busy
as
enough.
Is Danielle, who does our
Yeah,
Daniel
let's
does a
do
really
it.
good job.
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't have any good live photos. either.
I've been doing some band photos too recently, but I'm like at the beginning. I'm not that good at it.
Well,
yet.
then, if you need some guinea pigs,
Oh, that's true.
it's
Squeak,
true.
squeak.
Practice.
Yeah.
Practice.
Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah.
Well, all right. Well, listen. I think it's time that we listened to some of you guys' songs. You up for going and playing us a couple of songs?
absolutely.
Yes.
All right. Let's do it.
Sweet.
I thought about you all day, but you don't think of me the same way. You're always running late, you don't hear me complain. Who are you fooling? Try, you never wanna try. Is this where we say goodbye? gonna change, but I'll never see that day. Your friends take all your time, and I don't even whine. What are you doing? What are you doing? Try, you never wanna try. Is this where we say goodbye? Is this where we choose to hide from our troubles, or do we try and push them to the side? Go along for the ride. It's up to you and I. Yeah, it's up to you and I. And somehow, baby, I just can't let go of the thrill you show me. Makes me crazy. Got me on my knees, begging you to please show me the love you told me you had for me. Try, you never wanna try. Is this where we say goodbye? Is this where we choose to hide from our troubles, or do we try and push them to the side? Go along for the ride. It's up to you and I. Yeah, it's up to you to try. Cause somehow, baby, try. It's just when we say goodbye. Is this where we choose to hide from our troubles, or do we try and push them to the side? Begging you to please shine. It's up to you and I. Yeah, it's up to you to try.
Forged in the flames, it takes only her name to make all of them cower. They all fear her power. The sound of her screams echo through Aries' dreams. Everything she's made happen, in love with her passion. She rides alone, her past drives her from shame. Against the forces of the dark world, she fights for good, not for fame. Horns sound her coming, blare her name, make way for the warrior. Drums beat a rhythm, let villains beware. The warrior princess is here. No fear for danger, like an intimate stranger. You run towards a roar, a courageous warrior. Your heart like a lion, you've triumphed all the titans. Everything you've made happen, I'm in love with your passion. She rides alone, her past drives her from shame. Against the forces of the dark world, she fights for good, not for fame. Horns sound her coming, blare her name, Oasis here.
Hi, this is Ben from 561 Music. We are a local music podcast that is completely designed to promote and shed light on local music. And if you would like to be a part of that, we're looking for sponsors. So you could have your ads in the episode and in all the show notes, and we will read you bespoke ads, or you can write your own ads yourselves. If you want to find us, you can find us at 561 Music Podcast on the socials, or www.561music.com. We'd love it if you got in touch. Thanks a lot. We are also sponsored by Oasis Root. Now, Oasis Root Kava Bar is in Sea Grape Square on Indiantown Rd, and it is a kava bar. If you don't know anything about kava, it's a Polynesian root that you grind up and you mix with water, and it has been in Polynesia for potentially thousands of years. It's an old thing that they used for kind of ceremonial and also sort of leisure purposes. It's meant to be something where, you know, that brings people together. You all take a shell of kava and chink them together and say bula and have it together like that. It's meant to be something to bring people together. It's has a kind of an effect, which is, I guess, a kind of a slightly warming effect. It just kind of makes you feel nice. It's not particularly intoxicating. It's not like drinking alcohol. So the atmosphere in a kava bar is sort of like a cross between a regular bar and a coffee house. It's pretty chill in there. You get all sorts of different types of kava bars. Some of them are more like a club, you know, there's sort of like blacklight and EDM playing. And some of them are more like a cafe. This is one of the cafe type of ones. It's super chill in there. If you're looking for somewhere to, I don't know, maybe go and do some work on your laptop or go and have a chat with friends, it's perfect for that kind of thing. There's a foosball table in there if that's your jam, or baby-foot as they call it in France. And yeah, Jim, the owner, is a really cool guy, and he has very kindly sponsored our podcast. So thank you very, very much for that, Jim. They also do a poker night in there, all sorts of things going on at Oasis Root Kava Bar. 561 Music is sponsored by Live Music Community. It's where we film the podcast that you're listening to right now, and it's also where I work. Gavin, Hector's son, was a student here for a long time, and in many ways he's the musician he is today because of the teachers at Live Music Community. We taught him not only about his instrument, but also about being in a band, and his band, Unemployed Youth, accomplished a lot of goals, mostly band etiquette, how to work together, and all of the nitty-gritty that goes into being in a band on a day-to-day basis. The student signs up for lessons, learns their instrument, joins a real band, and decides the direction it goes in. And we can take people from very young age, 6 or 7 years old, all the way up to 80. There's no age limit here. We run an adult program for people who want to be in a band as adults, but really the main focus is on the kids and getting them playing together and in bands. We are also a studio, a live stream venue, and we can record audio or video. The Killbillies live album, Warts and All, was recorded here. It was recorded during a live stream that we did during COVID. Justin had a great idea to record live streams during COVID. A ton of bands came in, and it was a real success. But outside of that, we can record albums, we can help you with your EPK, and we have full audio-visual capabilities here. LMC is in Palm Beach Gardens on the northwest corner of Military Trail and North Lake Boulevard. It's north of the gas station, right before you get to North Lake on Military Trail. And if you go to livemusiccommunity.com, you have all the information you'll need right there. Thanks. All right, so we just listened to an ad for LMC, which is where we're sitting right now. It's a place I work, and Hector's kid went to school here and everything. And I think I even said it in the ad. But could you give us a little bit of advice for upcoming or young musicians?
I would say practice, even though you don't think that you're getting anywhere or you're feeling a little bit stuck, like just that perseverance, keep the push going. Because I think a lot of people can't get one chord, so they get discouraged and then they put down the instrument.
Yeah.
Just put down that lesson. Like, take a break. If you can't figure out how to play a chord or you can't figure out how to play a rhythm, just work on something else and come back to it. Because
Yeah.
sometimes
You just
grinding
need to
something
leave.
down,
Yeah. You just
Fresh
need to
eyes,
leave it
right?
for a minute
Yeah.
and come back.
Exactly, and like what I've always found with music is you work really, really hard at something, you can't get it. Then you don't think about it for a couple of weeks. You go back to it and you can just do it. You know,
Yeah.
because your subconscious has been working on it.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
the
yeah.
amount of half-written songs I have that I go back to, and then it's a full song because I just needed the break.
Sometimes you just need a minute to let it breathe, but
Yeah.
don't give up. It's really important, I find, to just carry on. And if it's something that you are truly passionate about, something that truly brings you joy, you know, you can't give up. You can try,
Sure.
but it'll
Yeah.
come back to you. It'll haunt you.
No, absolutely, don't give up.
That's
Don't give up.
Not to sound super
Cliche, but
Miss
don't give
America.
up.
Yeah, world peace. No, it's playing music is very fulfilling and very gratifying, and like I love doing covers. Even it feels really good to like hear a song that you love and then do it yourself. Like, it's so cool. It's like painting a picture of a scenery. You know what I mean? You're like, I saw that scenery and now I made it. You
Yeah.
know, same thing with a cover song. And like writing your own music is so gratifying in a completely different way, because it's like, that's me, like that's my truth,
Yeah.
which is why I can't do it sometimes, because I'm like, oh God, it's me.
Yeah.
But when I do it, it does feel really good.
That had do and do it in it.
Yeah.
When you do it. So that's my advice, I suppose.
Yeah, it's good advice. Tenacity is I think the number one thing. I feel like if talent is a thing that exists, the talent I think that people can have is tenacity.
Yeah.
That's the thing that'll get you there. You know
Yeah,
what
absolutely.
Yes.
Well, I mean, how many people come up to you after a show and they're like, "Oh my God, you're so talented, you're amazing," and it's like the response is always the same
Put
thing.
in the work.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, Ben's been playing music since he was like, a toddler. You
Yeah,
know?
exactly,
So,
yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean, it's,
I've been really good at walking too, because I've been doing that for a long time. You know what I
Exactly.
mean?
Right,
With
yeah.
enough practice.
we had somebody on here, Practice Warrior. We had the
Practice Warrior,
yeah,
my
Christopher.
song.
Christopher. He's got a website called Practice Warriors, and it's not lessons on teaching you how to play instruments or music or anything. It's lessons on how to practice,
I
which
love
is
that.
amazing.
which is amazing.
You should check the
But,
website. It's
but
good.
he made a comment that kind of stuck with me, and you were kind of alluding to it, that you're practicing. You feel like you're not getting anywhere. Those people that like when it just clicks, it didn't really just click. It's been
Right.
building for weeks,
while,
months,
yeah.
years.
Like you were
or
saying, your
whatever.
subconscious is working on
Yeah.
it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
That's
I
a
mean,
good way to put it.
songwriting is the same way. I start a song and sometimes I can't get the next line, and I've written most of it. I just need one line for it to be finished,
Yeah,
and that
yeah.
I just have to come back to it the next day or in a
Absolutely.
few hours. So,
Or she'll put down a filler line and then say, I hate it, fix it.
Yeah, there you go.
well, if you have a partner in crime.
We do that. I'll come with a song where the lyrics are just like not very good, and be like, and they'll be like, the lyrics aren't very good. I'm like, I know. Can you just make them better with me?
Make 'em
Like,
better.
Here's the
Don't make
gist.
it feel bad.
I gave you the bass. I gave you like the idea that I was thinking of. Now you write it.
yeah,
We're pretty
exactly.
good about that.
I like these
Yeah.
words. Don't move those ones. Put them. You can move them, but keep those 4 words.
Totally.
So has she ever come to you with a line and said like, "This is just filler. It's crap. I
Yes.
don't want it in there." And then you looked at it and went, "It's actually pretty good."
Maybe.
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 I feel
It has.
I tend to write very like vulnerably. I'm very much so like okay with sharing my feelings, but I think
Funny.
like just years of therapy has made me feel okay
Sure.
about that. And she's like the opposite.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
And
yeah.
so a lot of times I write very like what's the word?
Like stream of consciousness.
Yes.
I gotcha.
And
It's very good
she,
for you, actually.
She
It
like
is.
polishes it and makes it sound less like what's the word you always tell me? Contrived.
Okay, gotcha.
Well, but I feel like that comes from you wanting to write stream of consciousness.
And
then
make
you're like-
everything rhyme.
And then you'll
Yeah.
be like, no, let me make it super artsy. And I'm like, Shanece,
Just say what you want to say.
just say what you're trying to
I
say.
gotcha.
So I take it back. There has been, in our song Stay, there's a line that's like, contemplating. And like the play is the rhyme for the line previously. And we
Yeah,
both
yeah.
were kind of like,
It's a stretch.
yeah.
it works.
But
We like
with
it.
enough time and practice, we got it there. It was
It
just,
worked. We eventually,
Yeah, tell us a little bit about the songs you played. Like, what? Can you just give us some more details on those songs?
yeah. Stay is one of our big ones, and
Yeah.
a lot of was written about Edinburgh.
Our first time in
kind of
Edinburgh.
like our love story with the first year of Edinburgh. Because I looked up at one point, you stand in the fest, there's people all around you.
Yeah.
So there's very good people watching.
Very good.
And the
people
skies every day are blue and gray. Because you get rain or you get sun or you get clouds, but those are the colors that you cycle through.
Yeah.
And so I had this line, the blues and grays in the skies matching the swirls in your eyes, because everybody's eyes were
that's
so
lovely.
light as well, you know?
Yeah.
Case in point.
And so I had that line, and then I wrote like maybe like 4 or 5 lines, and that was actually one of the songs that we really sat down and like wrote the whole thing together. I had like that gist. I was like, I love this line. We have to do something with it.
Yeah.
And so we sat down, we wrote that one, and it's very much so about kind of, some personal experience and then some just to make the song work,
Sure, yeah.
Fluff,
But I think, that one's about Edinburgh, and then
All the songs on the album that we have released with a very original title, Untitled.
I like that. I was in
Yeah.
a band called No Name Scar Band. I approve.
Oh, sweet.
honestly.
Honestly, it was the filler box. What's the name of the album? And it said Untitled, and I was like,
Okay.
Yeah.
that works. Moving on.
Yeah.
One less thing to think about.
That's funny.
And but all of those songs
that was like
We were getting ready to
baby
go.
Katy and Shanece.
we were getting ready to go on tour in New Zealand. Our friend had a little home studio in Nottingham in England.
Yeah.
I can't say Nottingham. I don't know.
I guess Nottingham. Yeah.
Yeah,
You
Nottingham.
have to say the T's. So
Anyways,
hard.
in Notts, in the middle of London, England. And so we recorded the songs in her living room so we would have something to take with us on tour in New Zealand.
Because it all happened so fast. Jazz booked us for New Zealand. We were like, and we were opening for some shows as the little things. So we're like, oh no, we need like
CDs,
music,
yeah.
something to sell. And it was,
Yeah.
when people were still
Yeah.
buying CDs. So these are all songs that I wrote like when I thought we would be like, like Happy Daffy, commercial, ukulele.
Ukulele
You know-
Girls, first song on the album.
Yeah.
We were literally just
Okay.
like, we're so happy and
It's
we
like-
sing music. And
I'm
so we were just
so
like,
proud of it, because it is where we started, but,
a little cringe.
like it's cringy to listen to sometimes for me.
Yeah.
People love it. People love it everywhere we go.
And we
I'm
love
like-
it too.
And I do, but like some of the first songs we ever
You've
wrote,
evolved,
that
it's changed a
feeling.
little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like looking
And
at your
so we
first
have,
paintings. You're like,
We have a few other singles on there that are much
do
more
that with my
current
latest
that,
paintings.
same.
sound like us.
But we actually were listening to it today because somebody requested that we sing Jump, which is an album on that song that is we spent a weekend at a cottage right on the border between England and Scotland. Our friend had a family home there.
Nice.
Summer batch. And if you want to know what we did that weekend,
Just
listen to the
that
song.
Oh,
we
cool.
went on a hike. We played some board games. We drank a bunch of tea. We went to
It's
a waterfall.
on the song.
It's all
Was
right
that
there.
on the which side of the
Stayed up
country
till
was
3
that? Was
a.m.?
that sort of near
We were-
Newcastle on the other side?
We were it was literally right on the border of England and
I think
the
technically
East
It's
Coast.
Gotcha,
Scotland.
gotcha.
It was technically England.
Was it?
It's England,
I don't know,
yeah.
I thought it was Scotland.
Burnmouth, Eyemouth.
So then there's that album, which is that process of like having to like have all these songs ready for New Zealand, and then the other singles on there are much more like
thought out.
But I think mostly I struggle to write happy songs.
Now.
Yeah.
To answer your question, now like that whole album is like so happy dappy, like what you imagine a ukulele would sound like when you think of stereotypical ukulele,
Yeah.
and then all these other songs are much more like
Emotional.
felt, and I write very much so through experience. So
Yeah,
I
me
write
too.
about my life. I find it difficult to write about anything else.
I'm terrible
Yeah.
at trying to write about anything else. Can't do it.
Well,
Yeah, same.
Either
I
something I'm
struggle.
really pissed off about or something about me.
Yeah.
Same. It's either like sad breakup songs or like I'm angry at like Roe v. Wade being like overturned. You know?
And I hate to
I'm
write an
exactly
angry
the same.
song. Like-
Personal politics like that.
Right,
Yeah,
you know.
totally,
yeah. We,
So it's just that kind of vibe. But I think it's really clear when you listen to it that what's the word? The vulnerability, I guess,
that is a word.
that comes from
That is certainly a
me,
word.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no.
yeah.
You are very much like, here's how I feel. And I'm like, here's how I feel.
Yeah.
Figure it out.
No, yeah.
Like my Xena song is literally just like a research paper. It's actually kind of impressive, if I may. The Xena theme song has like a little monologue over it where he's like, she was Xena, the warrior princess, da 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 da. And I was listening, and underneath it I heard these voices like da 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 da. And I'm like, what are they saying? Oh, it's in Bulgarian. Let me translate it.
Wow.
And so I took that And
wrote
I
off
like
of that.
rearranged it, and that's what the chorus of Warrior is.
That's
Oh,
cool.
It's like
awesome.
and I'm like, am I plagiarizing right now?
That's a
Maybe
That's
a
a
bit.
deep dive into Xena,
Yeah.
figuring out the Bulgarian.
But see,
And
this
then
is
have you
how,
ever been to Bulgaria?
No, I
crazy.
haven't. Not
This
yet.
is how our brains work with song. This is why I think we work so well together.
Yeah, I'm
'Cause
like
we could
logic.
not be any different.
Right.
She
Any
has
more
such
different, yeah.
logic and such research, and like I want to learn every single thing about this. I mean, down to the T
Yeah.
before I even start writing about it. Whereas I'm like, here's everything I have.
Yeah.
I took like words from the monologue and like put them in the order that they go in the monologue. I like placed them in the song and then wrote around them. And I took episode titles and I put those in there
Yeah,
as
I
well.
mean, when
cool.
I tell you, it's like
very
a
full
very impressive research paper.
I'm very cool, very chill.
I think the coolest people are the ones that like announce that they're very
I
cool.
am YOLO. Okay.
YOLO is what
It's
this
the
episode
theme.
should be called.
There you go. Yeah.
As the
that-
kids say.
There's my like
Your quirky title for this
keyword
week.
or whatever they call it,
But
so they can
yes.
get the. Oh,
That's the
jeez.
next
Anyway,
song's
to
title,
answer
as
your
the kids say.
question,
Yeah,
As the
yeah.
kids say.
to answer your question, we just write about, I mean,
Random
whatever is happening
stuff.
at the time. Yeah.
Yeah, cool. Good stuff. So I think we've got some pictures of some of the gear that you
We do.
use. Why don't we take a little look at that? So what's going on with this guy?
Well, you see, having musician parents, my dad gifted me this. He was like, "This could be cool to play with," and I was like, "Yeah," and he was right.
I think
Yeah.
more than that, though, I think we had a loop show for a very long time,
Mm.
and sometimes we still do it here and there. And we thought about getting like all these like keyboards and all these
I
synthesizers.
know.
and-
I've been through that whole.
Right, and then we're like, it's just gonna be a headache to travel with. It's gonna be a headache to tote around.
And if we
Yeah.
get a bunch of different pedals, and so I was looking for multi-effect pedal, and my dad was just like, "Happy birthday!" I'm like,
Nice.
"Thank you."
And this, I mean, this really fit the bill. It's just like your classic, gigging musician ME80. I feel like every gigging musician
Like every
has
boss
bu-
pedal did in one thing.
Exactly.
including a looper.
Every gigging
Yeah.
musician has been through this at some point, or at least some version of it,
The
But
ME70
it has
is out
everything
now.
you need on it. I mean, you can adjust anything.
It's got delay and the wah and the modulator and
It makes the ukulele sound really cool. I mean, you can put like grunge on her ukulele, and we can play zombie.
That's
that's the
awesome.
kind of deal.
If I was more sensible, I'd have a multi effects, but I'm just so obsessed with the boutique weirdness of pedals that I just have to do the
that's
pedal
my
bit.
dad's new
That's
thing.
totally okay.
Yeah.
We are just like so not. So this
Right,
works
yeah,
for
yeah,
us.
Ben has an unhealthy obsession with pedals.
Yeah, it's out
That's
of control.
my dad's
And-
new thing.
And for us, it's our biggest selling point. Like the ukuleles are really cool, and we love playing them. But our biggest selling points are our voices. So
Yeah.
as long as we have like something round and like big enough to back that up.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And I
absolutely.
think probably
that's great too. Is that it's not like you're cutting corners. It's a good thing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
And I think the next thing that you're going to show is our newest addition to, exactly.
Oh, yeah.
Since we had the loop
This
show.
thing is amazing.
The
I very
coolest-
nearly bought one of those the other day.
The
You
coolest
should.
thing about our loop show is that we were able to take our little plink plank ukuleles without effects and add, a beat, which we literally just played by hitting on the ukulele.
Yeah,
You've seen it. You're a busker. You know.
You know the vibe.
I've done it.
But with sound problems, it would always feed back,
Yeah.
almost always feed back. So it'd
And
be
then
like,
you got the
"Doo,
loop going. It's recording on itself. So this just makes it cleaner. Because you can either approach it with sticks or you can approach it with your feet. It's
Yeah.
suitable for both, which amazing.
and
Love
it's
already.
sensitive.
And you can
to
see
tap.
up there you've got like the 12 settings, and on top you can't see it from this photo, but you have different sounds on those 12
So there's
settings.
12, 24.
great.
Plus double that. Each sound has another sound as well. And you can
Nice.
tune it however you want. You can put as many effects on it as you want.
Nice.
But I use it now just completely acoustic with us. Today, when we did the song, we're doing it just acoustic here, but
yeah.
I just use it as a stomp box. You guys heard it in
Yeah.
play at the
It
wedding.
sounded great.
But I love it. I think it's great. It's got 4 different bass drums on it.
So the way I got around that feedback thing you were talking about is the new Boss looper that they sell has a gate on the mic. So it, on all of the channels. So it's like you're not getting that loop of all of
Yeah.
the mic sound and
The
everything coming
bleed
through.
over kind of.
Because that's always what ends up feeding back. But the cool thing about the gate that they've got on that RC600 is that like you know how like the fan is always annoying and stuff like
Yeah.
that. It takes all of that out of the equation. It's so
Oh,
awesome.
we need to upgrade it because we have the
300.
300.
But
right
here's
now.
the thing. We have 2 instruments. Well, now
Yeah,
3.
we do this very
and 2
interestingly.
vocals.
Right.
That we
So-
loop all of through one pedal.
Yeah, yeah.
And so what we do is we run it through the effects channel of
Yeah.
our mixer. So
Right.
like send and return, then you can control
Mm-hmm.
the effects. So like when we're looping the ukuleles, I turn the voices down.
That's how our friend Yaz does it. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
But no one else besides you and Yaz and us and my dad, who told me how to do it, have ever heard about this. And they're
Yeah.
like, wait,
Well,
why
and
can't
not
you
any
just...
person that we've talked to.
Yeah,
anyway,
yeah.
I'm
No,
sure.
we're the only people in the world.
No, that's super cool. Though.
but it was really fun, but it was just hard because like our mixer was small, and if we were on a big stage, we had to give them one out, and they were always pissed. And then they're
Yeah.
like trying
because
to put
they
effects
can't
on
mix
it.
us because we have the mixer on stage
Mm-hmm.
running the loop, but
They don't like that, do they?
No.
they never do. But,
But
then,
then-
you give them the out and they don't make your ukulele sound good, and you're like, what is the point? Even?
Exactly.
But like, so since we can't plug into the looper itself, it kind of
And a
negates.
big part of it too is when we started looping, Katy hadn't been on effects pedals yet, so she wasn't very comfortable like pedaling and playing and singing at the same time.
Yeah.
So I was doing everything.
all of it.
How many ins do you have? Do you have like 5 or 4 like inputs to loop?
To the mixer, you
2
mean?
2 ukuleles, 2 vocals, and
And the stomp.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's 5. Yeah, the new thing that I've got has 4. Yeah,
If
so
it has
one.
4, then we could go back to faking it with the
Oh, that's true.
We
Think-
can't go back
or-
now, Katy.
or we
come
could
too
even we could even either like combine
I
something.
mean, I'm sure there's
combine
a
our
way.
ukes or combine.
I
our-
did-
Oh, you can
Yeah.
do like those splitters too. I use a splitter
that's
in the
right.
drum
Yeah,
show
yeah.
now
Yeah, yeah.
because I split the electric kit when we're in a small room with my pad,
Yeah.
and it totally works great.
That pet is so funny. It has one that goes, yeah.
I think you guys played that at Victoria.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great.
But you can pitch it up and down, so it can either go, yeah, or yeah. It's really funny.
Yeah, that's good.
I didn't ask you guys this question before, and I should have asked it while we were talking about the practicing thing. But how much do you guys practice?
Never.
Literally never. We used to practice when we first started. I mean, 5-6 hours overnight,
Yeah.
every night, and that's how. I think what happened was we booked a show, and they were like, "We want a 3-hour gigging band," and we were like,
We can
we
do
knew
that.
like I don't know, maybe 45 minutes. And we're like, yeah, because one of our best influencers in the whole world, her godmom, who has always been a huge supporter of us, said to us, "Book the gig." Learn
Then
the
learn the
material
music.
later,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
book the gig. You know, we all know that feeling.
It's the pressure.
So-
the pressure is on then.
Right.
Yeah.
So we booked the gig and we were like, okay, we have this finite amount of time to, learn all this music. So we ended up just
We used
4 or
to,
5 songs overnight.
yeah, we learned it all in practice. But we started, I want you guys to know, we would learn harmonies because Shanece is a very, like, she naturally can sing quite well. She didn't need a lot of, like, assistance or anything.
Yeah, but I
she
didn't
wasn't-
think that I was a
She wasn't very
singer.
comfortable
Right.
with singing,
Sure.
and especially like singing harmonies and stuff. I was like, I can sing harmonies, and you can sing. So certainly you can sing harmonies, and
Yeah.
I can sing, right? And so we would practice with our faces this close to each other, just like facing each other, singing into each
Yeah.
other's
That's powerful.
eyes, and just like that's
I
how we
never-
would
I
sing.
will
That's how
never
we got our
forget.
harmonies.
We were
Sick.
learning, somebody requested that we learn Landslide. And we're
Mm.
learning
Right,
this
yeah.
song, and we get to the end of it, and we're like, there's so many directions we can go, because it's all this big harmony.
We
know
were
is
doing the
gorgeous.
Chicks version.
And we were doing the
Yeah.
Chicks version, and we kind of wanted it to be Stevie Nicks, but we were going off of the Chicks version.
Gotcha.
And we spent, I want to say, like an hour and a half on 2, maybe like a bar, like on 4 to 6 beats of the song, just trying to perfect, like, yeah, who would come in where with the harmonies, where we would exit, where we would switch. And I
Yeah.
think that's what we did very early on, and
Yeah.
correct me if I'm wrong,
Yeah.
in the start of all this, that gave us
Yeah. So now
Like
you
what we
have
have
like,
now.
if this happens, we do that.
Exactly.
Yeah,
right.
Exactly.
And now when we learn songs, it's like so quick, you
Yeah,
know?
we learn music very quickly now.
I was just saying that to a guitar student earlier today. I was saying, yeah, you're learning this song, but you're actually learning 20 songs right now. Because
Yeah.
the things that you learn in this song, you can apply to like a million.
Right. I mean, the amount of
Absolutely.
theory you're getting from just like putting in the work, you know?
The
Yeah,
reason
totally.
that I didn't pick up guitar when I was a child and my dad was teaching it to me, because I did for a minute, and I was like, I could play guitar. And I said, Dad, how do you play a G chord? My dad, the Virgo, love him. He goes, well, it depends on where you're coming from.
Yeah.
And I was like, what does that mean? How do you play a G chord? He's like, well, if you're already barring, then you can play it here at the 3rd fret like this. But if you're coming from like an A minor or something, and I'm like,
I'm like
How do you play a
7,
G
and I
chord?
wanna
You're like,
learn.
I'm out.
I'm like, Dad, no.
This is what I persevere, kids. Keep going.
Yeah.
Don't.
totally.
I mean, do take lessons from my dad. He's much more reasonable now. Probably because I was like, I hate this. I'm never doing this. And he's like, okay, don't.
You can definitely
do this.
like too much information overload
Yeah.
in a teacher is not desirable.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, I think certain. Well, it depends. It all depends on the student because some people are like sponges and you just
And some
feed
people,
them and absorb it.
Like now, like at my age, and I don't know if it's my age or my experience and my knowledge, but now I love that. That makes
Yeah.
total sense. And if I were to ask
And
him
that's
a chord,
how she teaches me, you know?
I first taught her like how to do
Yes.
things, and then I was like, well,
And
if
now
you're,
here are variations of those things.
Right. Yeah.
excuse me, yeah, and I was like, now if you're coming from this chord, instead of doing this and having to move your hand 1,000 years, you can just go doop, and then
Yeah.
you know,
Note leading and all that.
yeah, and you know, like it's. Now when I speak to him about this kind of stuff, I'm so grateful because I'm more at his level and I can understand kind of what's
Nice.
going on.
Nice to have be able to have music conversations, you know, with your family.
All I talk to my dad about is music.
I like that with my brother. Yeah, it's nice.
It's my son and I. And same thing like with the gifts and stuff, like Christmas, birthdays. I'm like, oh, I got this one.
Do you need
Yeah.
strings? I got strings.
Yeah.
Got
No,
nice
he's
strings.
a drummer.
Oh,
nice.
He's a drummer.
Yeah.
Do you want
So he-
snare strings?
He gets drum kits and cymbals and it's all stupid.
He's in this great band called Young Fiction. Check
They're
him
really
out.
Oh,
good.
cute.
Yeah, they're really good.
Punk.
Young fiction, y'all.
Exactly. So, what do you guys got coming up?
Oh my God, so many things. We leave for Korea next week.
That's
Yes.
right. Yeah.
By the time this comes out yesterday, we'll be playing Jim and Jensen.
Right.
We're going to Korea next week. We got that original show,
Double
Double
Roads
Roads,
on the
on
26th.
Tuesday.
Yeah.
That'll
Check out
be
that
that'll be our
show.
last
Sally
show.
Fox and 561 Music. We do
Andy
original
Styron.
music
Yeah.
Tuesdays. Andy Styron and these guys, the little things.
Who we actually have shared
This
an
Tuesday.
original show stage with before, so that's gonna
But I was going to
Nice.
ask you, you guys are playing that show on the 26th, and you're going to be in Korea on the 28th?
Yeah,
Well,
this is our like send off show. We're doing the
Sick.
double.
Like, are
road
you
show.
going straight to the airport?
No, it's not that sudden, but
Well, we fly out on the 28th. Get this. I think it's hilarious. We fly to Atlanta at 9 p.m. on Thursday. Excuse me. And then we leave Atlanta at 12:05 Friday morning. Then we fly for 16 hours and land at 5 o'clock in the morning on the next day.
Brutal.
Yeah. But then, coming back, we leave at 7:30 on Tuesday, and we land at 7:45 on Tuesday.
Oh, really?
yeah,
Oh, that's bananas.
Crazy.
Yeah, because it's
But-
13 hours
It's like
ahead.
time travel.
yeah, it really is.
Yeah, that's
But
cool.
the Double Road Show definitely is September 26th with Andy Styron, and we got a pal Ryan who plays with us sometimes too. He's
playing with Andy.
So that's gonna be
Nice.
kind of like a little family
I'll
thing.
bring my bass.
And I think,
Yeah,
hey,
definitely do it.
Bring the berry
I
sacks.
shouldn't have said that.
Right.
You got to bring it now.
And then we got Korea, and then when we come back from Korea, I think we have the Virgin Islands. We go down there a few times a year. We got that in November.
We're playing Jam Fest in March
Yeah.
in the VI. That'll be fun.
Yeah.
Nice.
So we're there in November and March. Yeah.
My mom will be at the Double Road show, so it'll be a proper family reunion.
Oh,
I think my dad will be there
That's
too. Shoot,
awesome. Yeah.
you better.
I'll be there. I work until quite late, but as soon as it's over, I'll come down there and hang out.
It's until 11, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Sweet.
Yeah.
So we have O'Shea's on Friday,
Friday night. Yeah.
Oh, fun.
and that's 9 to 1 in the morning. And then
Patty
we
Max
have
on Saturday.
Paddy Max on Saturday from 9 to midnight. Paddy Max, of course, Kilbilly's spiritual home. Yeah, and that's that. And then we have Give and Let Give
On Sunday.
on Sunday. So what time does Give and Let Give start?
From 2 p.m. to 4 p.m., if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah,
Justin
so-
will come out here and yell at me if it's not right. And
Yeah.
he
hasn't come out
hasn't
here yet.
come out here yet, so it must be from 2 p.m. to 4 p.m.
You're right.
Yeah, there you go.
I say if you were wrong, we can just start talking about Zelda. We can redirect.
Yeah, exactly.
It's all fine.
So yeah, Give and Let Give for the uninitiated. And if you listen to this podcast, you probably know what it is. But we have a bunch of stuff here that we're trying to put into the hands of young people who are trying to make music. That's really the thrust of it. But if you're anyone, an adult or a kid or whoever, you can come, bring something and take something away. music equipment related.
Sure.
You know, so there'll be a bunch of, usually some guitars and amps and pedals and
That's pretty cool.
cables and yeah. So if you're around on Sunday and you think that there might be something here that just come by, drop something off, and take something away.
It's kind of like going to Jeff's house.
Yeah, it's exactly like that.
Maybe Jeff should come. He's got plenty to give.
I'm saying. Yeah, actually, Jeff would love it. It's right up his street.
He doesn't have enough things.
Yeah, maybe he's over it by now. Nice one. Well, thank you so much for coming. We really, really appreciate it.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, it's absolutely charming guests and
Charming hosts.
and quickly becoming friends. And I'm looking forward to working on music in the future.
Yes,
Yeah,
I
stay
can't.
tuned. We're gonna have the kill things.
The kill
Yeah,
things.
exactly.
I cannot wait to release our Britney Spears cover that we did. It's so
Can
exciting.
I just tell you, like, he sent me the song, and then I was like, oh, this is going to be fun.
Nobody ever sees it coming in that style.
I was playing the bass, trying to come up with, the bass line, the proper bass line for it or whatever. And then my wife comes in and she's like, why are you playing a Britney Spears song? I'm like, it's fine.
Don't ask questions.
Don't ask questions you don't want the answer to.
That's great. Is there anything that we need to tell people?
Send us money.
Wash your hands.
Please. We need
Sponsors.
some money.
Sponsors.
We have bracelets, so if you see us wandering around trying to sell you a bracelet, it's not because we think they're worth $5. It's because we need the money.
We need
It's
the
because we
money
need
for
$5.
the podcast. The podcast costs us money. Basically, everything about the podcast costs us money. All the forms that we send out for the artists to fill out and send in, there's a monthly charge for that. The websites and stuff, there's monthly charges for that.
And when can we expect our check?
The studio? Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, we've got to pay the little things $20,000.
At least. So there's cost. There's a lot of costs related to the podcast, and on top of that, we do the 561 Music Festival once a year, and that costs us an enormous amount of stupid money. And Ben and I are always coming out of pocket and doing our thing. So sponsors would be fantastic.
You come out of your
Let's go,
pocket.
guys. Come on.
And,
Sponsors would be fantastic. Support the local music scene. We're not asking for much.
Yeah, exactly. By the same token, though, if you've listened all the way to this point in it, we really appreciate you listening to it. You're doing your part supporting the local music scene literally just by watching it. So thank you for that as well.
Yep.
And and thanks again for coming on.
Thanks
Thank
for
you.
having us.
Yeah.
And
We'll come back anytime.
Yeah, wicked. Well, yeah, brilliant. I guess that's that, huh?
That's that.
All right. See you later, guys.
All right.
Peace out.
Peace out.
Everybody sings, it's what we're doing. Come and check it out, it's what we're all about. 561